Welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host, Tia Ayer. Luther Hargreeves, half ape, half man, Umbrella number 1. Keeping up with the Umbrella Academy fever that has gripped fans all over the world since the debut of Season 3 on Netflix, it is only right that we explore all the siblings of the Umbrella Academy. This video will take a look at the strongest and most level-headed members of the Academy, Luther Hargreeves. Luther is known by many names and is often called Number 1 or Spaceboy. By virtue of being Number 1, he is the leader of this not-so-merry band of superheroes. Thus, with great power comes great responsibility, and as evidenced by the show, he has a strong head on his shoulders. However, he has had quite an intriguing plotline, and this is his story. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Luther Hargreeves? Number 1 was adopted by the wealthiest industrialist Sir Reginald Hargreeves on October 1st, 1989, along with the other Umbrella Academy members. He was also a miracle baby and was born to a woman who was previously shown to have no sign of pregnancy. Luther and the rest of the Umbrella children were put through grueling training by Reginald to become young superheroes while being raised by their android mother Grace. Luther was Hargreeves' number 1, and thus he was the captain of the Umbrella Academy, as Sir Reginald ranked the children based on their individual usefulness. Luther accepted his leadership responsibilities enthusiastically, and to be honest, he was a damn good one. However, he was the lone one who stuck behind after everyone else departed and left the Academy. Only after Ben died and 5 disappeared, getting stuck in the future. He was achingly loyal to their adoptive father, though while living without the others in his father's service, he fell into a deep depression. Then he was given a solo mission to neutralize a biological threat. However, Luther suffered a serious injury while carrying out his mission, necessitating the use of a special serum by Sir Reginald to save his life. This serum, however, turned him into a being that was half man and half ape. Luther's muscle bulk and strength significantly increased as a result of the serum-induced ape-like physiology. He had a thin but muscular build and was already 6 foot 5 inches tall before receiving the experimental serum. He has grown much wider and thicker since using the serum, with a huge hulking upper body and leathery, hairy skin. He regularly covers his ape-like features by donning high neck shirts and fingered gloves. Reginald sent Luther to the moon after his unintentional transformation into a monstrous creature. Thus, in an effort to help him focus and take his mind off recent happenings, Sir Reginald dispatched Luther to the moon to purportedly keep an eye out for threats from space, where he spent 4 years alone in isolation while sending monthly updates to his father. He lost himself in social isolation, loneliness, and sadness during the entire 4 years he remained all by himself on the moon. When Sir Reginald passed away, Luther is called back to Earth and comes to suspect that their father was killed. As the situation develops, Luther learns that Sir Reginald actually never read any one of the reports he sent across from his duration on the moon. This makes him think that his father sent him far away just to get him out of the way, and as a result, Luther begins to feel like a failure and that he was expelled because he wasn't good enough, which dealt a severe blow to his self-confidence. When it comes to his personality, Luther is kind, responsible, and an upright person.
Our doppelgangers.
That's a made-up word.
No!
He has demonstrated to have strong sense of right and wrong and is willing to put himself in dangerous situations straight away and serve as a barrier in perilous circumstances. The only member of his family to remain at the Academy and carry on with his superhero duties because he had complete faith in his father's instructions. As the head of the Umbrella Academy and his father's number 1, Luther is depicted as taking his position extremely seriously and dedicating his life to his father's cause. He never left the Umbrella Academy and never established a life outside of it, as a result remaining alone and sheltered. He specifically points out that because of his dedication, he never even had friends. He thereby exudes a slightly innocent, almost childlike quality. He is distraught and disoriented when he learns that his father had never even seen his reports from the moon. Feeling as though he wasted his life, he spirals out of control and lashes out on attending a rave, doing drugs, and getting intoxicated. Throughout all 3 seasons, he also served as the bonding agent or the glue for the rest of the team members. He has brought them all together time and time again when faced with impending doom, and has also put his own life on the line, making the tough decisions. As far as Luther Hargreeves is concerned, he is an upstanding man and even more righteous superhero. Powers and abilities. Luther has a tremendous amount of strength, which he enhanced by his new ape-like physiology. When he was younger, he had no trouble picking up and tossing a grown adult man across the room and out the window. Diego's locked leg was freed by Luther by lifting a 1,000-pound farm truck with his arms. Luther has also had very durable and resilient body type, which was only enhanced by the development of his new physiology. During a fight, he is able to withstand the majority of physical blows, and could even withstand the full weight of a falling chandelier without getting hurt. Luther is shown to be able to hide from gunfire, proving that he is not immune to harm as Diego was able to stab him and draw blood. His body can withstand a direct blast from a rocket or a bazooka in the 1963 alternate reality, where everyone has superhuman abilities.
My friend.
Luther is skilled in strategy, tactics, and leadership, even if he subsequently experiences a devastating lack of self-confidence and gives up on his leadership position. He can give instructions to carry out a mission, strategize the group's resources, and frequently puts himself in danger to keep his teammates safe. Luther has demonstrated proficiency in unarmed combat throughout both seasons, but not being as competent as Diego or Five. He primarily uses his tremendous strength to confront his adversaries. It is important to note that Luther's emotional state as a result of the accident that led to his father's injecting of the ape serum to save him from death limited Luther's abilities. Even with all the upgrades it brought about with regard to durability and strength, he has become a shadow of his former self due to trauma, body dysmorphia brought on by his primate-esque upper body, and misery at his own apparent failure. This is reflected in his significantly diminished super strength, but by the end of Season 3, his physique had returned to normal. There is no information on whether this implies that he has lost his powers as well. Why is Luther number 1? Everyone that has watched the show has wondered at least once, why is Luther number 1? His powers are far less in force and impact if we compare him to number 7, and they are also less unique if we compare his powers to those of number 5 and number 6. Neither can he time travel, nor does he have all-powerful tentacles. So what makes him the leader, and why did Sir Reginald choose him out of 7 children? Since they were little, Luther has been the team's number 1, which has led to conflict with his brother Diego, who is the number 2 umbrella. It is unclear precisely when Reginald made the decision to number his children, but many fans have theorized that they are arranged in reverse according to power, with Luther being ranked first not because he is the strongest, but rather because he has better control over his strength. According to this theory, Vanya or Victor is number 7 because he is the most powerful. However, we have some more food for thought for you. Reginald may have been chosen by Luther as the team starred over Diego, or another player for another reason though. It is now abundantly evident that Reginald's training techniques were the best. For example, he medicated Vanya for years, imprisoned Klaus for hours in a tomb. Given their strong personalities, Reginald must have noticed Luther and Diego had an innate rivalry, and elevating Luther to the position of leader was a way to inspire both of them to perform better. However, this move may not have had the desired effect, as Diego eventually left the team and they struggled to get along, at least in Season 1. In fact, Gerald Way said on his Instagram page that Reginald gave Diego the number 2 because of the friction between him and Diego is one of the things that drives number 1, making it clear that this was Reginald's unique and slightly perverted way of encouraging Luther and Diego to improve themselves as heroes. In Season 1 of the Umbrella Academy, Luther took his duty as number 1 extremely seriously, to the extent where many viewers decided that they didn't like him. However, in Season 2, Luther relaxed a little, but if Diego had been given the position of number 1 and Luther had been given the position of number 2, Luther's attitude might have changed, but that wouldn't have posed any sort of challenge for them, and Reginald was all about continuously testing his children. Fortunately, Diego and Luther came to the realization that their numbers don't matter, and that Reginald's motives were dubious in the Umbrella Academy Season 2, allowing them to move on and eventually cooperate. Luther in Season 3. A lot has happened to Luther in this season. Hold tight if you haven't watched the show yet because there are some definite surprises in here. Skip it if you don't want any spoilers. Viewers of the Umbrella Academy might have believed that Luther Hargreeves' moon mission was over, but we are here to let you know that that is not the case. While it's less often mentioned that it was in the first season of the Netflix series, Luther's voyage to the moon is still an important portion of the season's plot. Luther repeatedly mentions Reginald taking him to the moon for the duration of the first season of the Netflix series. Because Luther speaks up about his experiences on the moon so often, fans started to create memes around it. One Twitter follower even turned one of his moon remarks into a drinking game. Well, it turns out that the moon was important after all because as we get to know in the third season, Reginald had hidden his body of his deceased wife on the dark side of the moon, and it is quite plausible that he had sent Luther to the moon as a placeholder, just to make sure that his wife's body would be safe. However, from another angle, he also develops a hatred for his father upon learning that his father never read a single report that Luther sent from the moon. Thus, when they do meet him in the new timeline where the Sparrows are present, he is wary of him and he has every right to be. This is the first time he is not sincerely devoted to his father, and that is a refreshing sight to see. Luther also finds love in Season 3. After a brief kiss with Allison prior to Season 3, and them deciding just to be friends, it does not seem like love is in the cards for Luther. However, when the introduction of the Sparrow Academy members, that completely changes.
What? When you come closer and find
Luther,
out.
guys, chill.
Stand down, Ben.
Luther,
Sloane, a student of the Sparrow Academy portrayed superbly by Genesis Rodriguez, captures Luther's attention, and in spite of their family's differences, Luther's inner hopeless romantic falls quickly and deeply for Sloane, who possesses the ability to manipulate gravity. Luther is quite reluctant to tell Sloane about his time on the moon because he is accustomed to being ridiculed. She even expresses a desire for him to take her to the moon one day, which is the most perfect response Luther could have ever hoped for. When the time comes for Luther to pop the question to Sloane, he fashions the ring out of a piece of moon rock that only seems apt. Sloane accepts the proposal and things seem to be going wonderfully for Luther. However, we all know happiness doesn't last much longer in the Umbrella Academy future, and Luther tries to keep Reginald out of the wedding celebrations after remembering how little he cared about his time on the moon. But the worst is yet to come. In fact, one of the most shocking moments of the season, unfortunately, involves poor old Luther. The Umbrellas, Ben, Lila, and Sloane must decide whether to enter Hotel Oblivion, which is an alternate reality in which they can enter via a portal in Hotel Obsidian to stop the Krukl Blitz, which was effectively on its way to destroying everything in the known universe. Hargreeves chose to take an issue into his own hands by murdering Luther, slashing him across his chest with a sword and leaving him to bleed out and die. Luther's death, he believes, will give the gang a reason to embrace the cause in the event that the side choosing to do nothing at all about the Krukl Blitz and accept their fate prevails, and that is exactly what happens. Sir Reginald is a master manipulator and tactician after all.
this wasn't part of the deal. You're hurting them.
I can't stop now. You shut down.
The Umbrellas enter the portal prepared to exact retribution on the alleged Hotel Oblivion assassin who killed Luther, having no idea that Sir Reginald was the one behind all of it. Klaus is left behind as the others go, and he commits suicide moments before the Krukl Blitz wipes out the universe as they knew it. Klaus sees Luther in the afterlife and tells him that there is no point in attempting to return, as the Krukl Blitz obliterated everything anyways. And although Klaus eventually chooses to do so and awakens in the Hotel Oblivion with the others, this is only because Luther doesn't accept his point of view and implores Klaus to bring him back to life with his newly acquired abilities. Luther does seem to come back to life amid the Umbrella's battle with the hotel's guardians and Hargreeves, but this is actually Klaus bringing Luther's spirit from the afterlife to expose the reality of what really happened to him. This shocks Allison, who finally breaks away from the deal that she had made with Reginald, and she finally does the right thing and kills their adoptive father to save her siblings. After Klaus uses his abilities for as long as he is able to, Luther ultimately departs for the afterlife, giving the impression that he actually passed away. However, in the final moments of Season 3, the entire universe is reset, because Allison decided to push the button even after Hargreeves had died, bringing Luther back to life, albeit without his powers in the same way that the other members of the Umbrella Academy were also brought back. He can no longer find his lover Sloane, however, and that makes us think that Season 4 might be a tough one for Luther. Luther in the comics. The comic series is an important source of inspiration for the characters, and while the Netflix character is largely similar to their comic book counterparts, there are still some key differences, especially in the case of Umbrella Number 1. Sir Reginald Hargreeves adopted him as a child with the sole purpose of raising him to save the world. Luther resided at the unique school, and the Hargreeves established to educate the kids. Hargreeves ranked Luther as number 1 because of his improved physical powers and fortitude. He was committed to success, and as a result, he was successful in whatever he set his mind to, especially shooting and flying. With his brutal leadership style, Luther rose to become the Umbrella Academy team captain and Sir Reginald favorites among the kids. One key difference is that in the comics, Luther and Number 5 were actually twins. The Umbrella Academy made its public appearance 10 years after the adoption of all the members. They debuted in order to combat the dangers presented by the zombie robot Gustave Eiffel and the ravaging Eiffel Tower in Paris. The team was led into battle by Luther, and the result was the death of Gustave Eiffel and the ascent of the Eiffel Tower into space. Luther later revealed his ambition to travel to space while enjoying a celebratory ice cream after the expedition, and when the time came, Sir Reginald made good on his pledge to make it happen. With the help of his chimpanzee co-pilot, Phineas Pogo, the family butler, Luther thus became the youngest person to ever set foot in space. As a result of his success, he earned the nickname Spaceboy, given that a banner for Spaceboy, the first boy in space, is displayed in the Umbrella Academy. Apocalypse suit, it is unclear whether Luther picked his moniker or if it was just chosen by Hargreeves, the media, or both. However, unfortunately, Spaceboy suffered a catastrophic injury while on his subsequent journey to the planet Mars. In order to preserve his life, Sir Reginald had to undergo emergency experimental surgery that involved having his head placed on the body of a Martian gorilla. Therefore, everything about his transformation into a half-man, half-ape was unique. The Umbrella Academy split up soon after Ben Hargreeves passed away, and Spaceboy left Earth to settle on the moon. Again, different reasons for going to the moon, and there Spaceboy kept a lookout for interstellar dangers from Annihilation Control with the help of his robot assistant Ben. 20 years after the Umbrella Academy made its debut in front of the public, Luther from the Moon was called by Pogo after Sir Reginald passed away. It was only when Luther got back to the Academy that he discovered that Number 5 had come back from the future. In the comics, Spaceboy's gorilla physique gives him extraordinary strength. A jetpack serves as his life support system, and he is proficient with a laser gun. Lastly, in the comics, Sir Reginald Hargreeves' records on his adopted children were incredibly detailed. Sir Reginald described Luther as ruthless and inhuman in his views of him. This was one of the factors that led Sir Reginald to designate Luther as the group's head and to regard him as his favorite. This is a significant change from Luther from the Netflix series. Luther is one of the gentler Academy members on the program. He isn't as vicious as Diego or insane as Klaus. His feeble attempts to maintain the group's unity come off as essentially human. All in all, Luther has had his own sets of ups and downs as a member of the Umbrella Academy. We already know that Sir Reginald was in reality a terrible father, so it does not come as a surprise that even the child that he supposedly liked the most was also a victim of his cruelty. However, Luther is the glue that holds the gang together, and the Umbrella Academy might not even have come together if it wasn't for him. What do you think about Luther Hargreeves? Does he deserve to be Umbrella Number 1? Let us know in the comments section down below. And if you like our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.